Welcome to Table Talk. I'm your host, Karen Wilson. We are once again doing our Table Talk over the internet. So it's a different format for us, but we're getting used to it, and it's just a fact of life right now. Today, we have a great show for you. I have with us Miss Rebecca Harris from the UCHRA. We're going to talk about several of the different things that they do at the UCHRA. Most importantly, the commodities distribution and then their transportation program. Welcome to the show, Rebecca.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
So tell us a little bit about what your role is there at the UCHRA.
I am the Deputy Director at UCHRA, and I'm also the Transportation Services Director here.
All right. So Rebecca, tell us about the commodities program, who qualifies and how a person or a family signs up for that.
The commodities program is a supplemental food program that's provided by the Tennessee Department of Agriculture. It originates with the U.S. Department of Agriculture. The program is such a vital food for the families, especially now during this COVID. We're seeing numbers go up, but a few ways that you can qualify for commodities is first, if you can show proof of food stamp recipient, Families First, SSI, Supplemental Security Income, of course, public housing, low-income housing energy assistance program. If you qualify for it, you would show proof and you could qualify for commodities. You would just simply bring proof of that to the county, your local county UCHRA office. You would need to call first because of COVID and schedule an appointment, of course, and they will make arrangements to sign you up for commodities. Second, you can self-declare. Because of COVID, they are allowing us to do that verbally. So you can call the local office and do the application over the phone by simply self-declaring your income. And as long as your income is below 185% of the federal poverty income level, you would qualify for commodities. And to give you an example of that, a family of 4, if your income is below $48,000 a year, you would qualify for the commodities distribution. You can also sign up at the distribution site on the day of commodities.
Okay, so good to know. The best thing would be to call the office and get those things set up ahead of time. But in a pinch, if you're kind of last minute on that for some reason, then you could show up and bring your proof at the distribution site.
Yes.
So let's talk about some of the dates that are coming up. We're filming this in August, and I believe the distributions for August in our viewership are wrapping up, but several coming up in September and 1st of October. Give us those dates.
I can do that. September the 3rd, Van Buren County, 9 to 11, and distribution will be at the Van Buren County Civic Center. September the 22nd, we're in Cumberland County at the Crossville Community Complex from 9 to 12. September the 24th, we're in White County from 8:30 to 11:30 at the White County Fairgrounds. And October 1st, we're in Warren County from 9 to 12 at the Northside Baptist Church.
Okay, and we talked about how vital this program is. Let's talk about the numbers and some of the numbers that the UCHRA, number of people that they have helped and what that equates to into dollars.
UCHRA over this past year has served 20,131 households. That is 883,000 pounds of food at a dollar value of right at $844,500. So it's quite a sizable program, and all those pounds of food, we have 2 full-time employees. So we depend on moving that poundage of food a lot of time with volunteers. So we do encourage anyone that would like to participate in the distribution to call into your local office and ask if you can volunteer and be there the day of the distribution. It's quite rewarding. It's a good program, and it's very helpful and very appreciated by the citizens of the Upper Cumberland.
And I will say most of these distributions are being done in a drive-through manner right now. The person receiving the food doesn't get out of the car or anything at this point.
That's correct. As a part of COVID, we have tried to limit the interaction between the customer and our employees as much as possible. We would ask that and we do set it up, like you said, as a drive-through. And we would ask that you make room in your trunk or in your back seat so that we can set the bike in the vehicle, and then you're basically on your way. So it's very, very easy, very convenient, not a lot of lifting for the customer. So we would like to be able to do that. All of our volunteers and our staff wear masks and gloves. So we're being as precautious as possible.
Right, because probably many of the recipients of the food can fall into the high-risk category for COVID-19. So great that you all are taking those measures to keep the people protected and then fed as well, because that's so critical right now. Let's talk about another arm of the UCHRA. As I was going through your website, it just amazed me. All of the things that you do for this region, and a big part of that is the transportation, public transportation. First, let's talk who can utilize the service and where it is available, what areas.
Public transportation is available to anyone. It's just like it says, public transportation. Anyone can ride. It's located in all 14 counties in the Upper Cumberland region of Tennessee. We're very blessed and fortunate in the state of Tennessee because it's one of only 6 states in the nation that provides public transportation in every county. So everyone in the state of Tennessee has access to public transportation.
That's amazing. I did not realize that. And specifically, I guess in our viewing area, I noticed that there's areas in Warren County, White County. We'll get into more of those. I don't want to name something that's not covered in a certain way. So let's talk about the specifics of the types of transportation you all provide. I know there's 3 different categories. How do those work?
We have 3 areas of services, specific services that we provide. And I'll talk about Go Upper Cumberland first. I'm sure a lot of your viewers are probably familiar with Go Upper Cumberland. Currently that operates in McMinnville, Cookville, Allgood, and Crossville. This is a fixed route that runs from stop to stop. In McMinnville, you're looking at stops at Beersheba Towers, at Walmart, at 3-Star Mall, just to name a few. And they're set up to be at those destinations and at certain times. Now that route also will deviate up to 3/4 of a mile off route by request for the pickup or the destination. You just need to let the driver know, or if it's a deviation for pickup, you can call your local UCHRA office again, and they will arrange in the next hour to get you picked up. As long as it falls within that 3/4 of a mile of the route.
And I noticed it's probably best to schedule those ahead of time. Is that correct? And then keep in mind certain times when you're scheduling appointments and things of that nature.
Yes. On the go routes they run basically every hour. So you would need to watch your times and know what time it was going to be at the stop, and then know whenever you left that it's going to be back to your location in approximately an hour for you to go back home or go to your next destination. That would be with Go. The fare for Go is $1 each time you get on. But if you are a senior, a veteran, or disabled, it's half price. So 50 cents each time you get on.
And we probably couldn't even start our car for 50 cents to $1. So that is such a great rate for these people.
Absolutely. And we run on Friday nights till 10 o'clock, and on Saturdays, we also run from 10 to 10 on Saturdays. So it gives you service in your downtown communities of McMinnville and Crossville. Currently, we are looking at White County or Sparta, Tennessee next for this type route. So it gives you that access 6 days a week. And basically you can go when you want to without having to give an advance notice of days. So.
Okay, and it did say that you could even go to the stop or the pickup area, flag the bus down. They've got they're used to that. And I noticed lots of local grocery stores and shopping places, which is probably what most people utilize that for.
They do. They absolutely do. We have a lot of riders that are accessing things like paying bills, the bank, the grocery store, their hairdresser. It's amazing the things that are on the route. I would suggest to anyone just to get on it and ride it one day to make the full loop, just so you can see what's on that route. We have done some unique things with routes. The one in Cookville has been established now for about 5 years. We've even had one of the children wanting to have their birthday party on board the bus. So they rode the route for an hour as an activity for the birthday party. So we try to accommodate lots of different needs, and it worked, and the driver enjoyed it as well. So.
It takes a whole new meaning to the party bus thing that goes on with prom and stuff. So what a great idea that parent had.
Yes, I thought it was really good as well. One of our other services is Ride Upper Cumberland. Ride Upper Cumberland is our local transit service. It's available throughout the counties. It's available in all 14 counties again, and it's also available throughout the state. This requires, we would like to have a 24-hour notice. We do try to accommodate demand response type trips where you may be ill and need to get to the doctor now and can't give that notice. So we do try to work those into the schedule and accommodate those needs. We also provide service outside the county with Ride Upper Cumberland. For example, out of McMinnville, Warren County, we provide service to Cookville and Manchester daily. They also have trips that they run that they customize based on the need of the individual. So there's really not a destination that we can't accommodate in some way. So if there's a need to go somewhere and visit, or to go somewhere, a medical appointment or another kind of appointment that you might have, call your local office and ask. There's no destination that I'm aware of that we have not gone to. I'll give you an example here. We provided, working with and using some of our sister agencies, we coordinated together and provided transit service for an individual from Clinton, Tennessee, which is way out in East Tennessee, to Memphis in one day.
Wow.
So we took someone all the way across the state in one day, and just using public transit and the rural buses and us meeting and coordinating with the sister agencies to get someone where they needed to go. Another good example I like to use is we had a lady that wanted to see her sons. One lived in Washington State and one lived in New York, and we would pick them up. They would take week about coming to see their mother, who was having some health issues, but we would take week about picking them up to bring them to stay with their mom, and we did it all through public transportation. So it was quite interesting. So any destinations possible.
And you just have to work with your local office to get that coordinated. I'd say in a trip that size, there's quite a bit of coordination that needs to be done, but you all amaze me with your willingness to be able to do that for people.
Absolutely. One other service we provide, which I think is really one that's not known a lot about, but starting to get the word out, is Connect Upper Cumberland. Connect Upper Cumberland is our inner city bus routes that run from McMinnville and Cookeville to Nashville daily. Those are done on set schedules and times, and through those Connect routes, you can access the airport, Greyhound, and then other stops as requested beyond that. McMinnville, for example, they have 2 buses a day that depart, one at 6 and one at 11, and then they make a stop in Woodbury and then to the airport and Greyhound. They return or leave Nashville at 12:30 and 4, coming back to McMinnville, and they make those same stops coming back. So if you're flying to the airport, you can pay a fare or flying out of the airport in Nashville, you can park at our UCHRA office and pay $9 each way and use our public transit service for a total of $18 round trip. And we don't charge for parking. So that's probably
parking can get quite expensive when you leave your car at the airport or even at the parking places that do that. You'll spend easily $100 in a week's time just for parking. So that kind of takes that out of the equation.
Yes, ma'am. We do that quite a bit out of our Cookeville. We have several people that use the service for the airport and for Greyhound out of our Cookeville hub, that they depart from Cookeville at 6, 9, and 11, and it works the same way. And it's $9 each way from here as well. So the fares are very reasonable, and it's a pretty quick trip. It's not something that would take you all day to get there, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So.
And do you all, I know we didn't talk about this ahead of time, but is it a possibility that you all can do something of that nature for out-of-town doctor's appointments as well, even in Murfreesboro and Nashville?
We currently, the Connect route provides access. Once they stop at the airport in Greyhound, then they go on to all the major hospitals. They cover doctor's office and then pick you up. You will be given a phone number so that you can call when you're ready to be picked up, and they'll come right back to where they dropped you off and will pick you up there.
Okay.
We don't leave anybody in Nashville. We try to account for everyone before we head back toward the Upper Cumberland. So we won't leave you in Nashville unless you choose to stay.
Well, that's a relief right there. You don't want to get left behind. People might worry about their parents missing the bus or something, but your bus drivers, they're just top-notch people, and I'm sure they really take care of their customers.
We have the best transit operators. They are just so caring and conscientious of the needs of the passengers and try to accommodate in any way possible. I would like to mention that we also have a program. It's a travel training program. If you've never ridden public transit before, there's that fear. And you mentioned earlier about I'd be worried that my mom wouldn't know to get back on the bus, or she would get confused to the door. Which door did I go in? We have travel trainers that will teach you how to use public transportation to make those fears go away, or to ease those fears. The travel trainer will actually ride with the individual to and from their appointments until they're comfortable with of how it works, and how that the driver's not going to leave me. And until they can get over that fear, we will put a travel trainer with them, and they'll explain how the system works, the cost, and they'll stay right with them until they're ready to come back. So it's a good program.
I'm amazed at that. I may need a travel trainer to go with me to the airport from time to time. I tend to forget where I'm parked at and all kinds of things. What a great asset to the community.
It is. It's a great program. We've had a lot of people that use it to ease that fear, and we have gotten a lot of good passengers now that are so independent because of it, that they're riding the bus every day and loving it.
That's great. And that just we hear a lot now about aging in place, and what a great tool to age in place, stay at home, and allow you to maintain your freedom. You don't have to depend on people to get rides from family or friends. And I know they're happy to do it, but sometimes it doesn't always work out. So the public transportation is great for that.
Absolutely. Another program that, if we have time, I'd like to mention, it's called Job Access Program. It's currently available in all of our counties in the Upper Cumberland. If you are employed and need transportation to and from work, you can contact your local UCHRA office to see if you qualify for the Job Access Program, which would pay for your transportation to and from work for the first 9 months of your employment. It allows you and gives you the time to become stable, to determine what mode of transportation going forward that you would like to use to go to and from work, or you may want to do a ride share with somebody that you're currently working with. So it's a really good program to assist in getting you to and from your place of employment. So be sure and reach out to the local UCHRA office again and inquire about the Job Access Program.
And I will mention too, going back to, and it's the same thing with the buses, what precautions are you all taking now for the riders of the buses? Are masks required? Are there cleaning, I'm sure, cleaning going on?
We clean our buses multiple times daily. We sanitize everything with disinfectant. We have required to wear masks. Our drivers are wearing gloves in some instances, especially whenever they're touching wheelchairs and things of that nature. We screen our drivers every morning and take temperatures every morning. We also screen passengers. So we have a few questions we ask as we're scheduling and booking trips. We also ask the drivers to be cautious when loading wheelchairs. So there is some questions and interactions between the driver and the passenger during that time. We encourage all passengers to wear some sort of face covering. We do have masks on our vehicles that we can hand out. They can use the cloth gaiters that some are using across their mouth, bandanas, some are making them out of t-shirts. So any type of face covering, we are asking all passengers to please wear those. And it's just to protect the other passengers on board, the driver. That's why the driver's wearing them, to help with the passengers. Also, every vehicle has had we've got a driver compartment, a barrier, whether it's plexiglass or it's a clear plastic, well, it's actually a shower curtain, but it's a plastic barrier between the driver and passenger area. So we're trying to do, again, everything possible that we can to protect our passengers and our employees at the same time.
Mm-hmm. And I'm probably would say that you're trying as best you can to space people out in the seating whenever they're on the vehicle.
Absolutely. We do the 6 foot area between as much as possible. We try to separate all the passengers on the vehicle. We even schedule additional vehicles based on the number of passengers that are scheduled for a destination. So it used to be 1 bus, it now be maybe 2 buses going.
That's great to know. You guys are going to make sure that the customer is safe and taken care of, even if it means taking 2 vehicles to on a route. Let's talk about your website for those interested in learning more about your services and sharing services with others. And then I know you guys have several different offices, so we may not get into everybody's phone number, but maybe a few of those.
We have in transit, you can call 1-833-UC-TRIPS, or that's 1-833-828-7477. And again, or call your local UCHRA office. You can find all this information at www.ucpublictransit.com. You can also visit www.uchra.org, and you can find all of the county offices. Phone numbers are located there. You can find maps for the routes in McMinnville, Cookville, Crossville, Allgood. You can find departure times and where counties are scheduled to be on a daily basis. So there's a lot of good information on our website.
And is there also information about volunteering on there, or would we just need to call our local office for that?
Volunteering efforts are coordinated through the local offices, so you would need to call that local office. However, if someone goes online, you can go to customer service and send an email and say you'd like to volunteer, and of course we'll pass that information on to the appropriate area.
Well, thank you so much, Rebecca. I am just blown away with everything. And this is just really the tip of the iceberg. In the span of a show, we've covered 2 of the great programs that you all are doing. It just amazes me that people have these resources, and it's not always known. And we hope we have informed the audience about those.
Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to share this information with the citizens of the Upper Cumberland. We're blessed to have had the opportunity to do this. Thank you so much.
Well, that's it for our show today. I want to thank Rebecca and our audience also for bearing with us over these Zoom meetings. We want to continue here at Channel 6 to bring you great information, especially during this time when need is so great. So that's it for today's show. We hope you'll come back again next week for more Table Talk.